Comments and likes, money, dick, and dollar signs. No, you ain't gon' say it, girl, you tell, let's see what's on your mind. Ex-nigga, let him go, cause how you bullet every time. 50 on my chest, I got like 40 on my penny line. If he said I did him dirty, sorry.
Yeah, baby. Phlegm in my voice, I'll be from the wonderful morning that it is. I hope it is a nice morning, evening, or night, day, I suppose. I was gonna say morning, evening, or night, which I did, but evening and night are kind of the same thing. Anyways, guys, it's the Koopa. We're back here on the Dragon X Quest 10 thing. Over here doing the Storm Tower today. It's more of the main quest, more of version 3 shenanigans. This is a Storm Realm. We're calling this the Squabble Realm. The Storm Battles, because, you know, it's a storm of conflicts constantly that we kind of just have to navigate through. And today's docket, of course, we're just doing the Storm Tower today, so not too much story. We probably won't get to the boss because I have things to do in about 45 minutes, so I'll probably just go for a clean 30 here. What I do want to talk about on our way up the Storm Tower, however far up we go, I do want to give a little chat about the formatting of our conflict evolution. You know, at least the natural one in the internet, you know? Our conflict evolution and how we grow more and more able to, I don't know, navigate these pillars of communication that we have. You know, you got the agree, you got the disagree, right? You know, so of course, as you know, as I've talked about in this playthrough, everything with technology has become better, bigger, more advanced, right? But how do we evolve the general act of debating, of arguing? Well, let me tell you how we do it. A lot of times in life, we take the criticism or the general like negative stimuli that people give us personally. And yes, it is a part of you that somebody is commenting on or complimenting or whatever, you know? But me personally, I tend to stray away from those knee-jerk reactions because, you know, if you just go through life not thinking about anything and, you know, just moving along, reacting to all the bullshit, of course you're gonna feel it. And you'll feel something when somebody says something about you, you know, whether you know it or not, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And so you can take that first immediate reaction, take it personal, take it like, you know, crash out on them, whatever. Or you can choose this one, which is the one I choose, and realize that no one has their own opinion. Nobody has true thoughts. Nobody is really inherently interesting. We're all boring people with boring talents that aren't really explicitly fascinating to, you know, someone who doesn't already have those preconceived notions about either our appearance or our vibe or something else. There's always something else baked into it. And what's crazy about that is that something else is baked into by something else, which is, you know, a past experience of the person with said thought or opinion, right? That's all we can really base it off of, is what we've seen before, what we have come across before, what data sets and hypotheses we have come to conclusions on. And so this can lead you into either a super defeatist mindset or a, you know, super ambitious, empowering mindset. Because when you look at it this way, You know, no one really has any power. This is true equality, where you're all boring as shit. You know, the true thing that really matters is how you explicitly connect to one another. And if you have the ability to sort of take a step outside yourself and be like, I'm not really, you know, seeing these people for them. I'm seeing a version of myself within them. You realize you're the only person that really matters. And you know, you can go like, I'm the only person that matters, so I have to go really hard on myself, or you could go the opposite way and be like, I'm the only person that matters, so you know, I hate myself and I don't want to work on myself, so let's say fuck the world. And so getting back into conflicts, you have these two ideologies. And I'd say a lot of people say, oh, nobody's awakened, everybody's dumb. I'd say a lot of people are awakened, they're just awakened in, you know, maybe the wrong way. But these two ideologies, I would say they don't even work against each other. They just are natural oppositions. You know, there's one side of the apathetic nature, my side, which I feel just sort of checks out of conflicts. You know, we avoid them entirely. You know, they are not even on our radar. The best place to have a conflict, or the best reason to have a conflict, is, you know, to not have one later on in the future. You know, the best thing to do in a conflict is to just walk away and come back when you have a solution that you feel you can communicate effectively. You know, that's one method. Or you could say it doesn't matter, only I matter, you know? And not go towards understanding. You know, you could just go towards... And sometimes this does act with understanding, but you know, that's not every situation. But you don't have to go towards understanding to get here. You could just go towards sort of a public humiliation, you know? Go towards getting the hive mind on your side. And that's the thing. It's not really, I'm noticing now, it's not even really like a one side versus the other side, because in all actuality, you could have the mindset that I'm gonna work more for myself and still not look to understand anything or get anything about the world. Like, sure, it may not all matter, and it may all be for me, and I may be trying, but I still don't care to understand. You know, I understand a little bit, and that's enough. And you could just go from there. So it's really not a lump sum us against them mindset. You know, it's kind of like ice cream and toppings. You know, you can have the chocolate with the vanilla swirl. You could have the vanilla with the sprinkles. You could be an atheist who doesn't care about anything in life, but still want to understand and have conflicts the right way. It's a lot of different things. It's a lot of different actions that bake into this. But in general, guys, the problem with conflicts nowadays is, you know, just that fact that we're all doing it slightly differently. And we can't tell who's doing it wrong, because you really just have to look at results, and you got to face the facts. And truth is not rewarded or recognized as valuable. And this is mostly because we don't have good leaders nowadays. You know, we don't have good people that you know, push the truth for righteous ideologies anymore. Everybody who I feel like pushes the truth kind of like, I mean, it is a weapon, but you know, you're not really supposed to wield it that way. It's just like with great power comes great responsibility. Like, you have to have the ability to destroy everyone and just hold on to it. But the world is so gross and so disgusting that it don't feel good to hold on to it. You kind of just want to kill it at all times. You kind of just want to murder it at all times. But we can't. You know, we have this wonderful thing called society, you know, that hopefully won't collapse. You know, I treasure a lot of the wonderful things we have because of it. And due to the society that we live in here, it's very apparent that there's no way to get, not out, but, you know, get this sort of Maslow hierarchy of needs that was afforded to us so easily before. And one of those needs is to conquer, to dominate, and you can easily find that online if you just argue with someone. You just argue with someone. And we all know, guys, we don't want to understand all these arguments. If you try to, like, base level and be civil, that's not going to get you internet points. That's not going to get you the little thumbs ups. That's not going to get you views. What you need to do, and this is where it's going to get crazy for me, where I'm going to really get a little radical on you, but hopefully this makes sense. What you really need to do to win online arguments is appeal to emotion. Appeal to emotion. And honestly, in real life too, guys, if you want to really win arguments, you just got to appeal to emotion. I know it's very annoying, because in my opinion, your feelings shouldn't dictate anything you do. But online, in most spaces, our leaders react to that. Or at least who we follow reacts to that. I would say the people who react to that, I would not call them leaders in the natural sense. But nowadays, the meaning of leader is being eradicated by some weak-minded, people-pleasing, self-reporting, white-knighting bullshit. All this self-hate crap is ridiculous, man. You are you. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no way to put yourself in a different body. I mean, of course, you can change genders. I suppose that's what people think is being in a different body. I dread for the year that we'll be able to take like fucking race replacement surgery or whatever the fuck. Because people will do it. People will 100%, like, I can be a white person? Oh, yeah. Because we're all so hating of ourselves because we feel like there is nothing we can do to change ourselves. And you're right, if you think that. But for the people who think there is something they can change, and the people who do take action on that, generally aren't online, generally aren't, arguing and going on platitudes and platitudes on people about the semantics of an ice raid. The thing that we can do, the people that want to fight and move forward, is just shed some light, take a little bit more action. I feel like that's what everybody says, but if you truly have a story, I think somebody has, ears to listen. Connect with someone in the community, man. I feel like you don't gotta jump on the camera and start a YouTube video to just show someone that you can hope again. I think a lot of people are afraid. That's why you see so many people online complaining about bullshit that doesn't matter, because they're afraid that maybe they can't change the stuff in their life. And if you're afraid you can't, you think you can't, and you really can't. You have to wait until you think you can. And for me, that didn't work either, so I just I just did it, I'm fuck it. I'm not gonna wait until I think I can do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go in. And I realize it doesn't work for everybody. There is no one-all, be-all therapist, physician solution. I think that's kind of why I got, disillusioned from hospitals and therapy and medical treatment in the U.S. in general, because not only do they steal all your money just like everything else here, but these people act like they have lived your life, like they know you, and it's just like, y'all are some of the most incompetent doctors on the planet, just like in general. So to tell someone, that the pain that they feel is because of this, and I've been diagnosed multiple times with different things. To tell someone that I just know that you will be taking this medication for the rest of your entire alive adult life, I feel like you should take your fucking medical license away. That's the disgusting thing to say to anyone. As humans, the only thing we're gonna do is evolve. That's the only thing you can't change. It's just evolution. And a lot of people are really afraid of evolving because they don't know You know, what's on the other side? What if I don't like what I'll become? What if my friends around me won't appreciate me anymore like they do? You know, what if people look at me differently? You know, what if I don't recognize myself just from that small change of opinion? But that's what arguments are about. If you're somebody who's really stubborn and doesn't like to change their opinion, stop going in arguments. Like, what are you doing? You're literally wasting your time. Having an argument is not about changing someone else's opinion. It's about understanding it. It's about grasping the concept from their perspective. And if we both came in with such an objective, you know, then maybe someone's opinion will be changed just because they understand the other side now. But too many times people come in to an argument, to a conflict, to a storm meta with the objective to teach someone a lesson. You know, not even change their opinion, just to teach them a lesson. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What are we, PBS now? PBS now. The greatest lessons are learned in silence, or a classroom, but usually silence. And the best lesson you can ever teach someone is to let them make a mistake. You know, criticism is always welcome, but you know, you're not going to get someone on criticism if they don't welcome it already. You know, it's just the thing. You know, everybody should want it all the time. But even me, I noticed even me sometimes, if I'm not showing a piece of work to you, you know, sometimes I may just post it, sometimes I might not post it, whatever. Sometimes I just don't care for opinions, and when you don't, obviously you're not going to, like, listen to them, you know? It's just like, I don't feel like eating a cookie right now, and somebody hands you a cookie, and you're like, I don't feel like it. I don't think, see, I think this is a bad analogy, because I don't think I would ever turn down a cookie if somebody handed it to me, but nevertheless, you kind of get where I'm going with this. You have to be in the mood to grow. And masculine leaders have kind of just taught you that growth is just a choice. It's just something you can choose. You can completely just stay in the same spot and never grow and never change and never do anything different because you are you and we all love you. You can do that. But I think, and this is just me, I am not throwing anything out there for you to immediately latch on and have to do, unless you want to be like me and be depressed all the day and have to record Dragon Quest and play this game for 12 hours a day. Anyways, I think that being a true leader means doing the things you don't want to do, even when you don't feel like it. Which means I don't feel like eating this cookie. I don't feel like taking this criticism. But I'm going to take it. Anyway, guess what? Guess why? Because I am the leader. Because I am the master of my own destiny. And not only my destiny, but a bunch of people under me's destiny. So because of that responsibility, I'm going to take on a little bit more. And that's really how you lead. Instead of having people worship you and follow you without question. We want people, you know, well, first of all, we want to earn that, you know, earn that following without question, because I do get that sense of power, but unquestioning authority definitely has to be, you know, backed by evidence that you can and will, you know, mark things up if they go wrong. I'm not saying you have to do a bunch of great things. I'm saying you have to make a lot of mistakes and handle them with grace. That's the only way I feel like you really become a master leader. It's not about doing, oh yeah, I did everything right for 3 years. That doesn't matter at all. Nobody cares. What people really care about is what you do under pressure. And I'm noticing more and more, man, with push comes to shove, snuff comes to snuff. Everybody acts like they can be smooth and easy and calm in the situation, and then a fire breaks out, and you gotta put your money where your mouth is, right, buddy? It's funny shit. It really is funny shit sometimes. But just like anything else, just like anything else that you practice, all you really have to do is just take action. And I mean a lot of action. See, that's the problem. You have a lot of great thinkers nowadays, I think. But the problem with our great thinkers of this age is that they constantly get thrown into this bullshit of creating the best life model in the world. Oh, excuse me. Without the express knowledge that all these world models, man, there's too many variables in life. Humans are trash. Humans are awful. Humans are stupid. Humans are evil. And because of this, every life model you produce about anything will always blow back up in your face as some retarded bullshit. It's never gonna go exactly how you do it. And I don't know how we haven't realized this yet, my smart guys. But I make life models all the time. I'm going to work and I'm like, oh god, I gotta talk to this one girl at work in this one way. Oh shit, she's working today. I gotta make this life model. Oh, I'm going to the dispensary. Oh, I gotta talk to this one weed chick in the one where I'm going on this date. I gotta talk to this one chick in the right. And then I go there and then I just kind of vibe in the moment, and all of my plans just fall to the wayside. And I'm like, that did not go nearly the way I saw it. And this is literally everything in my life. But I really don't think people make life models that much. If I'm being real. I think that's what I'm realizing. Maybe people don't do this all the damn time. And maybe if you do, you just do it unconsciously. And I'm really tired of that. I'm tired of everyone stacking up all this feminism and all this masculinity and all this, hormones, estrogen, all this bullshit as unconscious action. Guys, I haven't had an unconscious action in years. So, yes, that pisses me off. It pisses me off a lot. Because I have to manually turn my brain off. It's why I need drugs to sustain my mental state, sustain my mental clarity, because I would literally think myself into oblivion. I would literally think myself into the couch. I have to get out and exercise every day, and it's funny. I'm now realizing I used to live. Well, I'm not even gonna dox myself. I used to live in basically a state where I didn't have a car. Right, so I had to walk everywhere, and I didn't realize before I was even on medication, really, that walking everywhere really let me like decompress my thoughts. It let me sort of just drain all the bullshit out, because sometimes I would listen to music, sure. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, but oftentimes I'd just be walking. I'm just walking and looking, because this is a very cool town, very, very nice. Of course, now we're in the wonderful sunny Florida, and I have a nice neighborhood to walk around. But yeah, if you're one of those people that just has a very overactive imagination, mind, creativity, whatever you want to call it, go on walks. Have moments where you just sit in your house for 30 minutes and just think if you can't walk. Whatever you want to do. But give yourself a little bit of time every day to just decompress. And I know I preach this meditation bullshit a lot, but yeah, I don't think creating these life models is just like a me thing. I think a lot of people do this, and I think the people that do this need this time to sort of, relax and de-stress. Yeah, man, this athletic meta of just giant haters. It's really annoying, and I think it's really sad, because it's indicative of the generation we're in, A lot of people committing suicide, a lot of people raping. Everybody who's 20 to 30 years old is a pedophile now, because they can't find anybody else who's 20 to 30 years old. So they go to people who are way younger. Which is not the solution, guys. And then people just argue so many times without the facts, you know? I like that shit. I don't even know if that was a fact. That was just some joking bullshit that I said. But people will actually do, you know, heated, hate-filled Twitter arguments about this bullshit. And I'm like, why? Why type all these words? Why read all these words and then type words back? I don't understand that. You know, you realize you're not actually saying these. The people around you aren't actually saying these things. This is all just in your mind. You're not actually hurting them. You're hurting yourself. And then they read it. And then they hurt themselves. This is why we're all killing ourselves. It's all through the screen, man. And I wish in a future anti-apocalyptic world, you know, I wish we could just separate the technology. We'll have more physical media instead of having one phone, one box do 8,000 different things. Bring back MP3 players. Bring back GPSs. Like we'll have a hardware generation. You know, we'll have a bunch of manufacturing factories. You know, we have to make all this bullshit. And in everything, you know, we'll have watches again. We'll have a bunch of shit. And sure, you'll still have your phone. You'll still go home and get your smartphone. But, like, you don't have to carry it around with you everywhere. You know, you have something that just strictly makes calls. You know, you'll have something that just strictly checks the weather. You know, you'll have something that just, I don't know, maybe that sounds dumb to me. It sounds pretty fun to me, at least, because I like carrying around a lot of things. I'm probably one of the few guys that likes carrying around a bag, or a purse, whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, since I don't really go at too many places, I kind of just get a jacket with some big pockets. But yeah, you gotta remember, guys, technology is there to help us, right? Of course it's there to help us. But there's always a little bit more to it. And by a little bit more to it, I mean, you know, this world is not, I wouldn't say like a friendly world, but it's not inherently holy. It doesn't have to be. Like, what fun would that be? I feel like just because of the internet and the phase of the world we're in, 2025, year of the truth, it just feels like there's a lot more evil on the world than good. Because guess what? The evil stuff gets more clicks. You think this stuff gets a lot of clicks? It's not good. I mean, it's not good. It's not evil. I mean, it is good. It is good. It is. This is quality content. By the way, first tower where we're outside on the tower, very cool, very cute, very storm, you know? We'll end somewhere in the middle of this section because I do have to go in just a little bit. But, you know, I'll do a little bit more of a chat here for you guys. We'll end it off. We'll start our outro segment right here, okay? So, in general, guys, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to truly get into your fighting realm and your fighting force, you know? Because you're not gonna make it through life without conflicts. You're just not. You know, random battles are a requirement, gaining experience is a requirement. You may not have to allocate your skill points if you don't want to, and you just go along being a follower for the rest of your life, but arguments are necessary. And what we need to do to make it through this bullshit is to understand why we're arguing, and not even you yourself are arguing, but try to, you know, take perspective and understand why the person you're arguing against is arguing against you, you know? If you get the root of the cause, you'll have a greater chance of solving the actual issue, if that even is the goal. Because sometimes I get into an argument, I'm like, I didn't even want to solve this issue. I just kind of want to give you really, really strong emotions. Legit. And if you're honest about that, I think people really respect it. I think they do. A lot of people don't have the ability to even like introspect enough to understand why they are associating with someone. So do that shit. Why are you associating with me? Why are you watching this video? Oh my god, please stop. Okay, but you know, seriously, you know, understand if they're not family, you don't have to. And if it's on the internet, you really don't have to. Put the phone down, please. There's a lot of really, really good ways to communicate. I'm not saying debate is an overrated one. It's not. It's good. Realize within yourself that to truly connect, we have to realize that we all have differences. And accept those. Problem is, we're also ashamed of ourselves. I feel like we can't even accept ourselves. At least for me, it took me a while just to be like, man, I do like some really weird, disgusting gooner shit. That is me. I'm that guy. I'm the top OG, gooner, original gooner. I gooned the prehistoric ages. Okay, look, I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I feel very dumb. I feel very emotional. Because the conflicts are something that I've struggled with for a long time in my life. So I apologize if this is a little rambly. You know what? Take that back. I don't apologize if it's a little rambly. You love the rambles. I love the rambles. It helps me get this thing out, you know? So, that's like apologizing for taking medicine. Don't do that, guys. Don't apologize for what you love doing. Huh? How about that? How about that shit? Okay, so I'm all yapped out for now. I hope you have a good morning, night, day. I almost said evening again. I didn't though. Whatever time I upload this on, I appreciate y'all for watching. Go ahead, drop a little subby wub, scrub in the tub. And I will see you next time.
Walk around and catch a hot one to your triple hoe. Ain't shit changed but the number on my front door. Walk around and catch a hot one to your triple hoe. Got a new chain, what you think I bought the strap for?